Welcome to the Mel Coffman Show. Today's guest is author of the book, You'd Better Put Some Ice on That. She's a former registered nurse and successful businesswoman, and currently she's a public speaker. I'm pleased to introduce Juanita Broaddrick. Juanita, welcome to the show.
Oh, Mel, it's so much fun, and it's so nice to be here with you today. Thanks.
I am thrilled to have you here. This has been a long time in the making. We've been talking since what, January of this year? Awesome. So I just wanted to, I want you to tell the audience a little bit about yourself. So you were born and raised in Van Buren, Arkansas?
Yes, born and raised in Van Buren, Arkansas. And people say, well, who the heck is Juanita Broaddrick? I've been so many things all of my life. Of course, you have the time where you go through your education. I became a registered nurse, and then I became a mother. I adopted my son when he was 2 days old. And then I became a business owner and worked in my businesses for almost 40 years. I own nursing homes. And then I retired, and I don't know what I'm going to be tomorrow.
I just love it. So tell me, what was it like growing up in Van Buren, Arkansas?
It was awesome, except when I refer in my book to the bad experiences I had with my mom. My life was great as a child and as a teenager. I remember I'm in that group like the Leave It to Beaver family, where the kids were out all day long in the summertime and playing. And I remember playing baseball and roller skating in the street, in front of our homes. I'm serious. I was such a tomboy. And we only had to move when an occasional car had to get through. So that was great. I remember sitting up with my family and listening in this big cabinet radio to Gunsmoke and Jack Benny, and all those things. It was a good life.
Those are very good times in history. I remember those days, actually.
I can't imagine.
I'm old enough to know better.
I don't think you remember those things, but yeah.
I do. Actually, I do. Yes. I remember when, TV went off at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, everywhere. We had, 4 channels?
Yeah. And then that pattern come on, that test pattern.
Oh yeah. Bars and tones.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you about, what would you consider some of the moments that have shaped who you are today? Some defining moments.
Well, of course, the most defining moment is I was such a trusting person. I took people at their word. And I have to refer to when I was severely raped by Bill Clinton. After this happened to me, I was a different person. I never wanted to trust anybody. I was severely depressed. I had panic attacks. And one particular panic attack, when I woke up in the middle of the night, I just wanted to get outside. And I drove to my nursing home. And I remember I thought, well, I'm just going to go to my office and work because I can't sleep right now. And I couldn't work in my office. So I started going around the nursing home, visiting patients and talking with employees that I never saw usually, in the middle of the night. And I would walk around and I would see patients and I would talk to them and find out, what they needed, what the nurses needed. So being able to concentrate on someone and something that was suffering worse than you were helped me take my mind off of that. I became an advocate for long-term care and not only wanted to have good care in my own nursing home, I wanted that to develop into other areas and other nursing homes.
So I read in your book that you initially didn't want to become a nurse.
No.
So what made you keep pursuing it, and what made you fall in love with the profession?
Oh, I fought it. I was a singer. I sang with bands when I was a senior in high school. I was Miss Van Buren, and my talent was singing. And I thought, well, that's gonna be my career. Well, of course, you think that at a very young age. My sister was a nurse, and then my father, when I had won a vocal scholarship to a local college, said, no, that's not what you want to do. He said, you need to go into nurses training like your sister. So I appeased him and I went into nurses training, and a shock to my surprise, I loved it. My dad was right. I needed to be a nurse.
Isn't that fathers know best?
Yes,
That's the old saying.
Exactly. I watched that one too.
Me too. Got me.
Yeah.
So I understand that you're quite a tennis buff.
Oh, I love tennis. I did. I started playing in my 20s and, would be in little local tournaments and everything. And then when my child got to be 8 or 9 years old, he wanted to learn. So I taught him, and within a year, he could beat me. When he was 10 or 11. So then I began to concentrate on his tennis, taking him to tournaments and, regional state tournaments. And then he even played college tennis. He played for Tulsa University and won a Prince All-American Award. When he was a senior in high school, he was the Arkansas state champion. So after I got him in college, then I went back and played recreational tennis. But it's such a good sport.
You still play?
I still play.
Awesome.
Yeah, but the difference in then and now is the 20-minute drive I have coming home. But the time I get home, I feel like rigor mortis is set in, and they're going to need the jaws of life to extract me from the car. I don't play as much anymore.
I understand. So I want to transition this conversation a little bit. Let's go back to Juanita Broaddrick at 35 years old. How did you feel going from being a private citizen and then all of a sudden launched into this political media blitz through the allegations of being raped by President-to-be Bill Clinton?
It was horrific. It was absolutely horrific. Here I was, a successful businesswoman, and not wanting to get drawn into this. I never came out willingly. I was forced out by the Paula Jones versus Bill Clinton. And I was so angry when I had told them I did not want to be included in this lawsuit at all. I did not want to be subpoenaed, and that I just wanted to go on about my life. But they subpoenaed me anyway. I had to be deposed, went to that deposition, and said nothing happened. I was so angry, Mel, for being dragged into that kicking and screaming. And it was really hard. And then by that time, I had been deposed by Ken Starr. And at that time is when I actually told the truth of what had happened to me after the advice of my son, that I needed to go ahead and come forward.
So I understand that you had initially recanted your statements with former prosecutor Kenneth Starr. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I had told the attorneys for Paula Jones that nothing had happened, and they were very angry at that. And then I find out that the recording that investigators had made of me that actually admitted what had happened to me was sent to the Ken Starr counsel. And then, so shortly after the Paula Jones thing, I was interviewed by Ken Starr and deposed. And my son had told me, he said, "Mom, it's time to come tell the truth." He said, "Paula Jones was a civil suit. This is a federal suit, and this is serious. You really need to come forward." So Ken Starr gave me immunity for what had happened in the Paula Jones case, and then I came forward with the entire story. They were very kind to me.
Awesome. So what made you finally agree to meet with, I believe her name was Lisa Meyer, the NBC correspondent? Was that 1999?
Right. After it was learned by the press and the public that who Jane Doe number 5 was after the Ken Starr thing, I started getting all these calls from Barbara Walters, Connie Chung, Roseanne Barr, and Lisa Myers. And these phone calls I didn't return any of them. But then one day when I was home, I answered the phone, and it was Lisa Myers. And she had such a nice, pleasant voice. And she was trying to, get me to come forward. And then later, after we started talking, she sent me a letter. And there's one thing in the letter that really impressed me is she said, "It's going to come out. People are going to twist this every which way in the world." She said, "Why don't you come out and tell what really happened and tell it your way before they have a chance to do this?" So that was primarily what I did.
Well, I read your book, and I found your story to be highly believable. Actually, Juanita's so lovely. She brought me a copy, an autographed copy I can't wait to read it again because I
Yeah.
read the digital copy. But also, it is a fabulous book. It's a fast, easy read. I think it's 109 pages.
Yeah.
And it gets straight to the point. And it's just really it's about you, not so much about, what went on in the media in the
Right.
90s. So
Thank
it's
you.
a great read, and I can be found on, I think I got it off Amazon, but also on your website,
Yeah.
JuanitaBroaddrick.com.
Right.
And we'll put that up on the screen there.
Right.
So, but great read. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So let's talk politics.
Sure.
Have you always been a conservative?
Oh, Lord, no. No, in fact, I'm really wonder what a conservative is, but we'll talk about that later. No, I voted for George Bush. I voted because I liked him, the second George Bush.
Right.
I voted for Reagan. Okay, now this is going to get you. I voted for Obama. I voted for Obama and gave over $3,000 to his campaign. I thought he was great. And then when it comes time for the second run for him, I thought, no, he's not as great as I thought he was. And I didn't even vote that time.
I understand. There's nothing like buyer's remorse. I've been there.
Yeah,
So.
but I've always voted for the man. I don't vote for the party. I vote for the man.
So what made you become a Trump supporter?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I had intended to completely stay out of politics because I knew that Hillary would get the nomination. I had no idea who was going to get the Republican nomination. And I didn't intend to ever get involved in that until one day I see Hillary Clinton on TV. And Hillary Clinton, who had threatened me after the rape, personally threatened me after the rape, is on TV, and she's saying that all victims of sexual abuse need to come forward and be heard and be believed, and we're with you. I thought, oh my God, she can't say that. That woman who enabled this man to do all of the horrific things that he did, she doesn't have the right to say that. So that's when I got on Twitter, got my grandson to teach me how to use Twitter, and I got on there, and my first tweet was, I was 35 years old when Bill Clinton, the Arkansas Attorney General, raped me, and Hillary tried to silence me. I'm now 73, and it never goes away. And I tweeted that, and all hell broke loose. And then I gradually worked my way into the campaign. I mean, not me personally, but learning about the campaign. And I liked Ted Cruz in the beginning, but I also liked Donald Trump. I just knew I didn't want Hillary. And I remember one time James Woods made the tweet. He said, because Trump was snarky, he was sort of snarky, but I like snarky. I'm snarky. So I remember one time James Woods made this tweet, and it said, Trump may be vinegar, but Hillary is arsenic. And I thought, that's exactly where I am. But then I just learned to really like President Trump.
Have you ever met Donald Trump?
Oh, yes, at the second debate.
What's he like?
He's not what you would think. You see him out at the rallies and when he's on TV, but he was so soft spoken. But here he was in a room gathered with victims of Bill and Hillary Clinton, and of course he was going to be, especially tender and nice to us. But you could just see past that. Soft spoken, very nice. I enjoyed him right off.
Awesome. It's nice to hear different perspectives about him, which we generally just get one from the media.
Exactly.
Mainstream media.
I like Donald Trump. You know that from my Twitter account.
Yes, definitely. So what was it like to be at that debate with President-to-be Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton?
It was unreal. I had been in Washington, D.C. doing an interview with Breitbart, with Paula Jones and Kathleen Willey, and I was on the plane going home from that interview in Washington, and my phone rings, and it's Steve Bannon's people, and they're saying that Donald Trump would like to have you at the debate tomorrow night. And I said, I'm on my way to Arkansas, and so, but we worked it all out. The only problem I had was with my son. And my son, when I had a layover in Dallas, I called and told him I wouldn't be I would be leaving home early in the morning to go to the presidential debate. And he says, "Oh, Mom, don't go. Don't go to that." He said, "They're just using you." He said, "Because of the Hollywood Access tape that came out." And I said, "Listen, I heard his explanation. I believe his explanation. It was locker room talk." And I said, "Let them use me. This is the man I want to see win the President of the United States. If I can help, yes, I'm going to go. And yes, I'll be able to be there and be in the most public forum to remind the people of what this monster and his wife did to me."
So let me ask you something. What does the date November 9th, 2016 mean to you?
It means everything. Uh, I stayed up. I did not think that Donald Trump would win. I was not one of those that thought, I just knew Hillary was going to win. And that was so distasteful to me. And I can remember it must have been around 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And you see Texas and Florida come through for Trump. And then all of a sudden you see Wisconsin. And then you see Ohio. And you see these states and you think, my God, the impossible is happening. And it was. And so I stayed up until I heard the announcer say, "The next president of the United States is Donald J. Trump." I couldn't believe it. I felt like my life would have been a horror show if Hillary Clinton had won. But under Donald Trump, I felt like this huge weight had been lifted off my shoulders. And I didn't have to worry anymore. I felt like the Clintons were history.
Okay. So you've been a public figure for decades now, what, about 40 years? So what would you like to contribute to the conservative cause?
I don't know what the conservative cause is. I really don't. I know me as a conservative. I believe American first. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in our rights. I believe in free enterprise. And there's so many other things. I believe that all people are equal and they should be treated equally and have the same opportunities. But I don't believe in equity. I don't believe that you should get the same as those, if you just lay back and don't do anything, as those that work hard to achieve certain goals in their life, without with a lot of effort. But as far as being a conservative, I guess I believed in so much that President Trump believed in. But the main thing is, I believe in America first. I don't like what's happened in the last 5 months. It is like we're in the twilight zone with what's going on. I know we have to do something before 2022.
There's a lot of work to be done.
Yes.
So going along with that, what's next for the Republican Party?
Oh, they're in turmoil right now. If they do not get it together, I mean, you don't know what Republican to trust. And me, I have a way of gauging that on whether they knife President Trump in the back, after the election.
Mm-hmm.
I personally feel that he won the election. Now, that's me. Call me a conspiracy theorist. Call me anything, but I truly believe that he won the election.
Lots of people do.
Yes.
So speaking of elections, what did you learn from the 2016 presidential election?
To not give up, because I had given up. I thought the Clintons are going to be back in the White House. I'm going to have to hide from everything again, and I wondered what they would do to me. I wondered, I knew after I'd gone on NBC Dateline, I was audited by the IRS twice within a few months of that interview. And you just wonder, about what somebody in power like that can do to someone that speaks against them. It's really difficult. But when Donald Trump won, I felt like I had a new life, a new lease on life.
Sounds like you felt vindicated.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. That's the word. Vindication.
It's a great feeling.
Yes.
So let's stay on the subject of elections. What did you take from the 2020 election?
Oh, I mean, we're still in the depths of the 2020 election. Will we ever really know who won this? Will the audits prove anything? I have been so depressed since that time, because I was just so sure that Donald Trump would win. And I don't think we can take anything from it right now, because I don't think we're really there yet.
You know, the election results for the 2020 presidential election, the results were devastating for conservatives and Republicans.
Right.
I know I personally had to take a break from this show. I'm like, I need to take about 30 to 60 days, just go sit down somewhere, recalibrate, get my mind right. And it wasn't just me. I was having a hard time finding guests who, they just didn't have the energy. We were put in a tailspin like you couldn't believe.
Yeah.
And,
it just really, it was just, like I said, it was a depressing situation. You think, what do we do now? What do we do now? And with every day, within a few days, things started to change. They stopped the pipeline, and then every day you wake up to another horrible thing that they're doing. I mean, the socialistic views of the Democrat Party right now are just too much for me.
Well, and the Democrats, that party is also in turmoil. It's not just the Republicans.
Right.
You've got,
right.
You've got the legacy Democrats, and then they've mixed themselves up with all that stuff.
Yeah.
Let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
So we're going to switch gears here. I understand that you've done some public speaking engagements.
Yes.
Recently with former federal prosecutor Sidney Powell and former national security advisor to President Trump, General Michael Flynn.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Oh, that was exciting. I'd never been on the stage with them before. And when we first got it was here in Dallas, and over the Memorial Day weekend. And I was so excited to meet them. And I didn't expect them to really know exactly who I was. But when I got to the first meeting, the VIP thing, I was walking by General Flynn, and he comes over and grabs me and hugs me, and he says, "My whole family loves you," and I could have fainted. It just shocked me. And I got the same response from Sidney Powell, and oh my goodness, it was just wonderful. And Alan West and all of the other people. There was about 20 different speakers there. Jean Ho, who was President Trump's photographer. But every person, was just in awe of General Flynn and Sidney Powell, when they spoke. That gives you hope. There was almost 2,000 of us there wanting and needing hope, and we got it.
Well, I have to say that from what I've observed, Sidney Powell and General Flynn, they're amazing individuals.
Yes.
I would love to just sit down and have a conversation with Sidney Powell. Did you get a chance to do that?
Yes, I sure did.
Oh, please tell me about
it.
We
didn't talk about a lot, but she was just very complimentary. I was complimentary of her. But have you seen Sidney Powell? She's got to be over 6 foot.
She's taller than me?
Yes, she's tall. Very tall.
I just want to let everybody know, I always look very big in pictures because I'm like, 5'9"? Big girl.
Oh, no, she's over 6 foot. Yeah. Yeah, she's very tall.
Okay.
And the first thing I asked her was, "Did you play basketball?" And she just laughed. She did.
Oh, I'm always the tallest one in the group.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always, group of ladies, I'm always the tallest one there. So it's nice to see somebody that's actually taller than me.
Yeah.
Yes. So my next question for you is, what's next for Juanita Broaddrick?
Oh, who knows? I'm transitioning every day. I love to go out and speak because I want to help other victims, and let them know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and you can get past this. I have communication going on all the time through direct message on Twitter and on my Facebook and everything, where people contact me and are having a hard time. And I love to tell them the things that I did that helped me, and hopefully will help them too.
You and I, we've talked about this before. I honestly don't see you as a victim. I see you as an overcomer. I love how you have taken a situation that was very tragic for you and you've turned it into something positive. I see you out there on social media every day, and you have
Yeah.
a pretty large following. You have just under 500,000 people following you daily. So,
Right.
you know, that's quite an accomplishment. You keep evolving and getting better and better and better.
Thank
And
you.
I enjoy interactions with you. But
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I enjoy Twitter. I'm on Twitter every day.
I have to say, Twitter can be contagious.
It can. And I had some people from the BBC visit me here recently before the Memorial Day weekend event. And the man came in to interview me in my home. And he said, "Boy, you're nothing like you are on Twitter." He said, "You're really nice."
You are a wonderful person. Your energy just comes across the airwaves.
Thank
I
you.
just enjoy being around you.
Thank you so
Well,
much.
it has been a pleasure having you on this show, and I hope that you'll come back again.
Oh, we will.
All
We will.
righty.
Thank you, Mel.
You are so welcome. That's all for now. Thank you for tuning in to the Mel Coffman Show.